fun colors. Today we're going to be crafting and making a fireman gnome. And I've made two up here. One has the pot of gold boots on. And one has the some boots on that I've made without using the pot of gold boots so that everyone can make them that doesn't have the pot of gold boots. So this is what they look like. This is the one that we'll be making today. He's got his portable water tank and his hose and his fireman hat. And we're going to make him today. So let me go through the list of things that we're going to need to make him that I have here on my table. Number one, we're going to need a balloon weight that's in silver. And we're going to need a package of hair rollers from the Dollar Tree, pink hair rollers. And we're going to need a package of these little glitter hats from the Dollar Tree. They're not in the holiday section. They're just at the end of the aisles. I found them by the detergents at the end of one of the aisles. So just look around for those. And I do use these on a lot of different gnomes, different style hats and stuff. So you pick up a few packages if you can. And then we want to get 3 6x6 tan pieces of felt for the nose and hands. And then I have a little 1.5 inch by 1 inch piece of tan felt for the number on his hat. And then you need an old roll of ribbon that's like this with the holes in it. This I got out of a helium balloon box where they gave you the ribbon to do the helium balloons, and I never used that ribbon. I always used a different colored ribbon that I have. So I had a few of these on hand, so I used them to make the water tanks on the firemen. So hopefully you have something like that you can use. You just get creative with that. I have a package of men's 6x12 socks from the Dollar Tree that we're going to use. There comes 2 pairs in a package. We'll need both pairs. I have some black trim, like a really thick shoelace trim, pipe trim that I got at Joann's. We're going to need a couple feet of that for the hat. Well, probably not a couple feet, but maybe a foot. Then we're going to need the neon green felt. I cut about 5 feet by 3/4 inch. So we have plenty of that to put the stripes on his outfit. And then we're going to need a 3x14 piece of yellow felt for the hose. And a 1 by 3.5 inch piece of black felt that we're going to use this piece on the back of him. And 2 6x6 pieces of black felt for his sleeves. And then a 4x5 piece of black felt that'll be going on the bottom of him. And you'll need marbles, rubber bands, 2 black rubber bands for his cuffs, some polyester fiber fill, a 4x5 beard, and we also need a 10x10 piece of red felt for his hat, a 5x7 piece of red felt for his water tank, and a 2.5 by 2.5 piece of red felt for the bottom of his water tank. And that should be it, besides your glue sticks, your scissors, and your glue gun. So we'll get this cute little guy made up, and I'll be right back with you after I clear this table off, and we'll get crafting. So today we want to start by making the hat first. These hats, when you get them at the Dollar Tree, are called mini hats. They're not called glitter hats, but I just nicknamed them glitter hats. So when I'm talking about glitter hats, it's about these little glitter cowboy hats that I use on a lot of projects, so it's good to pick up some extra ones. That's with like little balloons on the package, and it says 5 mini hats on there. So what you want to do is you want to realize that the front of the hat, the longer part of the hat is going to be the front of this hat. On both pieces, the front of the hat is the longer front, and then the shorter is in the back. And what we want to do is we want to cut out a shape. Try to explain this. The back of the hat's going to be longer. And we're going to keep this whole flat piece intact for the back of the hat. On the sides, we're going to leave a little bit of rim and just a tiny little bit of rim on the front to go around. And that's how we're going to cut out the shape. We want to get rid of this little shape here in the top of the hat. And we will as we go on. We'll start by doing that to it. So then you want to grab your scissors and you want to, leaving the back flap on there, you want to just leave a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch of rim around the side of the hat in the front. Leave just a little bit of a rim there. And leave your flap or your fireman hat in the back like that. I can see my rim's a little bit bigger on this side. So it should come out like that. This being the front and this being the back. And then you can keep this aside, this elastic, if you want to save that for another project. And then we're not going to get enough height if we just use it like this. So as I have in a lot of my videos, I double up the hat to get the height. So we just need to have the middle of the hat on the second hat. Just cut out the middle part and we'll use that to get our height. We'll put that aside for another project. And again, I'm just crunching in that shape. I don't want that shape, and I'm going to put a little bit of polyester fiber fill in this area here to help us lose that shape. We're going to put them like this. I'm going to put a little polyester fiber fill in the hat to help us get the height. Like that. Put a little bit of glue, a couple dabs of glue in there. And then you just want to glue that down. You see how when we get it glued down, we'll have the shape of the fireman hat. So I'm going to glue that down, making sure you have both the long sides to the front, and hold that down for a minute. I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've got that set up on the top here. Just waiting and letting that set up helps to as you continue along. So you want to like put a drop of glue on the front and the sides and the back, 4 places, just to hold that down. I'm going to do the front and then the back. There went my glue gun. I forgot to mention that I'm going to use these little pink clips that you can get at the Dollar Tree in the craft section. At the Dollar Trees that have that craft circle, or I'm not sure what they call that department. They have these little pink clips, and a friend of mine sent me 2 packages of them, and they're just wonderful to have. And I'll be using these a lot in making this hat. So if you can pick up a couple sets of those, that'll help out a lot. Okay, I've got the front and the back tacked down, and I'm going to tack down the sides, and then we'll get going with the red felt. Okay, that's pretty good. It sets up pretty fast. Then you want to get your piece of red felt. Mine has glitter on it from something else. Your 10 by 10 piece of red felt. And you want to put it on the hat diagonal. We don't want it to be this way. We want it to be this way, with the points going out the sides and the fronts. The front, like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue it. We're going to take it and glue it like that with the pleats in the front, and we're going to have pleats in the back. One thing I want to do first, just almost forgot that, is put a little bit of fiberfill on the top of it so that we don't have that shape. We don't want to come out with this shape. Just put a little bit of fiberfill on the top right there. And then put that on there. The points on the sides and the front. And then make a couple of pleats like that. And then we want to start gluing these pieces inside the hat, and it's going to pleat in the back as well. What we can do is we can take our little pink pins and hold it down where we're going to glue it at, and then just come along. This will keep everything in place for us. Now on the back, we want to do the same thing. We want to put our pleats down like that. Kind of round that in. And as you glue, you can use these right to hold the fabric down, the felt down, while it sets up, so you're not hurting your fingers. And that's how we want it to be set up after we get it glued. So the chore is going around and getting this all glued. The sides will be on a little bit of a rim, and the back will be on a big rim. We want it to come out like this on the back, so he has a big flap on the back of his hat. So let's get started. We'll start in the front, and as we take these off, we'll glue that part down. little on my fingers there. Now I'm going to come back and glue in the pleats a little bit better after we get the bottom done. That brings us back to the beginning. So we want to take, and this is the back of the hat with the flap, and take the front piece of the hat, which is all glued, and we want to just go as far in as we can with the pleats. We don't want the glue to get out over there and make a mess. So we want to go farther in there and get that pleat glued down. I'm working on the front. I'm going to hold that a minute. Put another, I do have some extra ones here. Once I hold it for a minute, I think I can get away with going on to the next one. And then we'll just want to really stick it, you know, a half an inch into there. Put your glue on. And then hold that down. And the same thing on the back with the two back pleats. We'll just go right in there. Once we get this glued like this, the only thing we have to do is put the number on the front and the black trim that we put on top of these pleats. That should be just about set up. Make sure the front turned out good. I'm going to start taking off these and seeing where I need to maybe glue a little bit more. That one got stuck a little bit. This big piece here, we just tack that down there so it's not in the way. So that turned out pretty good. I don't see any spots that I need to re-glue. Now what we want to do is we want to take the trim the black trim, I have an extra long piece of it here. And we just are going to glue it. We want to start gluing it by putting it inside the hat a little bit and anchoring it there. And then just glue it all the way around like this and then anchor it there again. So it's kind of tricky. It's not something that's real easy, I wouldn't say, but it's we're going to do it right here. I'll hold that down and let that anchor so it's not pulling around. We want it to be nice and glued right there. So let's let that set up for a minute and I'll be right back with you. So I've had this little pin on here for a few minutes now. It's nice and anchored. So we can start with the job of bringing this trim around on the pleat. So you just want to get your glue right in the crease of the pleat. And then take your trim and lay it right in there. And let that set up a little bit so that it doesn't pull out while you do the next part. So we're going to go around and we're going to do into the next pleat. We're going to do the top and we're going to bring it down to the next pleat and then we're going to glue it on the inside. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back with you. So I got the front done here. See, it's glued on the inside, both the ends. And then just glue it around the pleat, across the top, and then down the pleat again and inside. And that's how it will look. And then we'll do the same to the back. We're going to start by gluing the anchor in the bottom. Putting a little pin on it to hold it for a few minutes. Put that right below the pleat. And we're going to let that set up. That's going to take a couple minutes to let that nice and set up so that we can be free to go around and do that again to the back of the hat. And that is all we're going to do. We'll let that set up for a minute because we're going to take, and we have to make the number for the front of the hat with this 1.5 by 1 inch piece of tan felt. And I just took a marker, a black one, and put a number on the front. Now remember, these are gnomes from gnomesVille firemen. I have no idea of the regulations for our firemen here. And so these are just imaginative firemen that just fell off the fire truck coming out of gnomesVille. So we'll put this number on the front of their hat. This should be all set up for us. And we're going to just go right around the pleat again. Making sure you don't get it too taut. You got to go into that little flap area with it. So just start by getting a little bit of glue into the crease. And doing a little flap area first. Don't try to do too much at once. I think I'll even hold that. we're just going to keep gluing, take it around and down the other pleat. Okay, here we go. I'm going to let that set up for a minute. And then I'm going to bring it across. I'm going to bring the glue right across here. I'm going to set that right on top of it. And then I'm going to go down this other side here and anchor it to the bottom. I'm trying to get this glue set up so I can show you exactly how we go across the top. You just want to kind of look at where you're going with it. Make sure your glue's good. Just run across the top of it to the other side. And lay your trim piece right on that glue. And let it set up. I'll be right back with you. The top glued across here and it's set up. We went up to the side, went across the top, and now we're going to go, this is where we're on the back of the hat. Now we're going to go down that back pleat and across the flap and then anchor it. So you just want to put some glue in your pleat. And then bring that trim piece down on that. I'm going to do that in 2 times, so I don't want to do it all at once. It's a little work to do the hat, but it turns out real cute. And I did look around to see if you could buy a store-bought fireman hat, and I found out that it was nearly impossible for me anyway to find a 5-inch fireman hat that was pre-made. So this is something that you had to put some work into and make. So that should be set up good. And then I want to finish out by doing the flap part. Bring that around like that. Let that set up a little bit. We're almost done. I'm going to clip off, leave about a 1/2 inch there that we're going to glue underneath. I'm going to put a little glue on that part that we kept out, or we cut off, lay it in there, and put a little clip on it so it can set up good. Maybe a little short here. There we go. Let that set up good, and then put the number on. I was going for a 66 here. I've got all 6s in there. I'll glue the number on right now. And we're going to let the hat sit on the sidelines while we make the rest of the gnome up. I'll be right back with you and we'll get started on the rest of the gnome. Okay, the next thing we want to do to get on with making the fireman gnome is to make his body. And what I'll do is I'll use one pair of the 2 pair of socks that we got at the Dollar Tree. We got them in that set, two pairs in the one set. We're going to use the one pair for his body and his arms. So I'm going to cut a little bit below where it's got its pattern there. A little bit below that. I don't want the arms to be too short. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of seam room. And then I want to take the bottom pieces and put them together, because on this gnome you will see the socks on the body. So you don't want to see the polyester fiber fill. So you definitely want to double up the bottom pieces of the socks. Put them in together. You want to make a 10-inch body. You want to take and put your marbles in the bottom. Flat marbles. A couple handfuls of flat marbles in the bottom. About like that. And then you just want to fill it up with polyester fiber fill till you get a 10-inch body. And then fasten it off. And I'll be right back with you. So once you get him, I really stuffed him well. I didn't want him to be too thin. Got his marbles in his bottom and his polyester fiber fill. Stuff him really well. And then if you measure from the top of the little stub after you fastened them to the bottom, to his bottom, you should get 10 inches. And then we'll be on the same page. So then is what we want to do is we want to make his arms. And what we do is we take the top of the socks and put a little bit of polyester fiber fill. And like that. And then we want to take our black rubber band to do each of the cuffs, because those are going to be showing. The top of the sock becomes the cuff of the sleeve. You want to just clip out that extra fiber fill that ends up in the cuff. And then you take whatever rubber band you have handy to fasten the top. That's going to be glued on behind the stub. And that's how your arm's going to look. We're going to glue them behind, but we're not going to glue them until we put the sleeve on for his costume. The next thing I'm going to do is make the other arm and get it ready for the sleeves to go on. And I'm also going to get ready to glue on the nose. But I'm going to do the other sleeve off camera to save us a few minutes time on the end result of the video. The other arm made. That's what they look like. And that's what I want to do now is take those 3 6x6 pieces in the tan, and I want to make the nose in the two hands. I have one hand made, and I'm going to make two more. I'm going to make the nose and put it on, and then do the other hand, and we'll put those on. So let's get the nose made. This is how you make the nose. Just take some polyester fiber fill, put it in your 6x6 piece of felt, and push it up in there with your thumb. About the size you want your nose to be. And then you want to take your scissors and cut off your extra. This is how you make your hands as well. So we're going to attach that for his nose. Put some glue right on the bottom of the nose and attach it right on there like that. And I'm going to let that set up, and I'll be right back with you. So I've got the nose on. I've got the sleeves made. I went ahead and made the other hand. So we have two hands now. The hands are made just like I showed you the nose was made. So we're going to put the hands in the cuffs. You just want to take a little glue and put it around the hand. And put it right inside the cuff and hold that down. Just hold that down for a minute, and you know, really, it'll glue pretty good on its own once you do that. And then we'll do the other one. We're trying the best we can to keep the length of the video down, but still show you everything. So it doesn't end up being an hour-and-a-half video for you to have to get through to figure out how to make the gnome. So we're trying to keep it down. So if you see us not do something on camera that you think that maybe we should have, the reason why we didn't was because we're trying to keep the minutes down. So we're just showing how to do one arm, not both. So now I've got both the hands glued in. And what we're going to do now is put the sleeve. We're going to get those 6x6 black sleeves out. There's two of them. And we're going to give the arms sleeves before we glue them on. So what we want to do is just lay that right about where the rubber band hits his cuff on there, and then just wrap it around. You want to make sure that your hem right there at your cuff is going to meet up exactly right. And you just want to go down and glue your sleeve on your arm. Now after I do this black part of the sleeve on the arm, I'm going to do the stripes on this same arm. So I'll do the sleeves and the stripes right now in front of you, and then I will go off camera, do the other one the same way to save minutes, and then we'll be back to continue with the gnome. We'll put the the arms on after that. Just the one thing you want to remember when you're putting the sleeves on is to kind of glue back. Don't glue forward because you'll end up with glue all along your seam. Put that glue back in a little ways. Now once you get that set up, you can fasten it with a rubber band. And you just want to go over it. You can feel where the rubber band is underneath on the arm. You can feel where the rubber band is. So just go over the top of the rubber band on the arm part underneath. Like that. And then trim it up a little bit because we don't have that much space on the back there. So we don't want to have too much. So trim it up about 1/2 inch. So then we're going to put 2 stripes of the neon green. And we want to start a little bit from the bottom. Maybe 1/2 inch from the bottom, we'll put the first stripe. And we want to start it where the seam is on your arm. Just wrap it around, tack it down. And let that set up for just a minute. Then we're going to do one more stripe above it. I've got about 3/4 inch between the stripes. That one's good. And then we're just going to do another one about 3/4 inch up. Tack it down in the middle. And that's how you do your neon stripes on your sleeve, which is on your arm, which has your hand attached, and you're all set. So I'm gonna go off camera, finish this up on the other arm, and as soon as I get that done, we'll come back and we'll attach the arms. Be right back with you. Okay, so we have the arms done. I did do one extra thing that I wasn't going to do while I was doing that, was I changed the rubber bands at the top where they're going to be attached. I changed them to both to be black rather than to be the natural. So I have black on the bottom at the cuffs and black at the top. So what we want to do is we want to attach these arms, and we want to make it so the seam is down and it doesn't show in the back or the front on there. So we're going to put them about halfway across that stub in the back. So I'm going to get some glue on here. About like that. We're going to put those on there. Now I've got to let that set up, so I'll be right back with you. Okay, so what I did was I glued that arm on. I went ahead and glued the other arm on. So we've got those, they're still setting up actually, but they're on there good enough I can let go. What I want to do next is put some shoes on them. I didn't want to do the pot of gold shoes because I know a lot of people, again, don't have the pot of gold pots. So I just came up with a little idea to put some boots on them because I feel like you should have the boots. So I just cut off about 6 inches of the bottom of the second pair of socks that come in that set, and then save this top part for sleeves for another gnome, and then just use these bottom 2 pieces. We're going to use those for the shoes, and we're just going to put some fiber fill in them. Right across, having the seam of the sock come across the top of the boot. You don't want too much fiber fill. That's even a little bit too much, I think. I'll take a little bit back out of that. You don't want them to not even be as big as a golf ball. I mean, that's too big. Kind of play around with it a little bit. Maybe put some polyester fiber fill in them and then put them up to them. And if they're not right, make an adjustment. This is how they should look. So they're not too, you want them more cute than cartoony, I guess is how I would say it. So I've got those just about how I want them, with the seam running across the top. And then what you want to do is you want to take and just loosely fasten them, because this part is going to be glued to the bottom and his feet are going to be coming out to the top. So you just want to loosely fasten them. We don't want anything real thick to glue to the bottom of the body. So about like that. This is just my idea of something that everybody can do. About like that. You don't need anything extra on here. You want to make sure the seams, just like you had a pair of the pot of gold boots, you want to make sure the seams are coming across right at the toe just right. You're making a pair of boots here. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue them right down, right on there like that. want those to kind of come in as much as you can right there. Put them like that. They don't stick out on the sides. So once you get it set up like you want to do it, like that, and then get your glue on there, just like the pot of gold shoes. I did notice the first time I did this, this wanted to stick to my paper, so I'll make sure I don't let it do that. You don't want to hold that down and let it set up. They're real soft. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got those glued on there. This looks kind of like a mess on the bottom, but it won't when we're finished. I've got those glued on there, and if I just let it go, it's going to fall over. It's not going to want to stand up. So what you do is you take, I'm just holding him up so I can see what I'm doing here. You want to take 3 of your flat marbles, take the first one with your flat side down, and just glue them together. And hopefully this one takes 3 and not 2, if I might be wrong. And you just want to glue it right on the back at its base. Like that. And as you come around to the front, you can see how he sets up just right with that glue there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in. I'll let that set up. And then when we get back, we're going to cut a little base cover, and we're going to cover that bottom where those shoes are, the boots are, so it's nice and a clean finish down there. That's what we're going to do next. I'll be right back. So I just like to, that's all glued in now. That'll just be his kind of a stand for him, because he doesn't have a pot of gold boots. What I like to do, or what I did do on the other one that I made like this, was I cut a piece of felt for the bottom, just to make that a cleaner look there where the boots are attached. So I'm using this 4x5 piece that I had you cut, but I think on this one we're just going to use about half of that. So just fold that piece in half and cut it in half. And then the piece that you have left, we're going to take and round it out like the body. Round out the corners all the way around, and then we'll attach it. We're not going to try to cover up the marble piece. Just the rubber bands and stuff. So go ahead and get some glue on that piece. Not too far to the edge. Just clean them up a little bit with that. Looks a lot nicer. Set it down and let it set up. The next thing we want to do is put the stripes on the bottom of his body and across the boots. Now this is just my imagination of a gnome fireman. This is not exactly how they probably are, but so this is how I would make a gnome fireman. We're going to put 2 stripes around the bottom and then some stripes on his boots. So we just measure out. This is not something you can measure out ahead of time because everybody stuffs them differently. A little more glue. And that's the first stripe on the body. Which is supposed to imply that this is the jacket. And then we'll do another stripe. After I take the tape off. Okay. Now I didn't like how they looked, I didn't want to leave it with the raw edges in the back like that. So I had you cut a 1 by 3.5 inch piece of black felt. And I put this across the back. I just thought that looked a lot nicer. It just, for some reason, looks nice on the back of it. So I'm adding that piece. This would be the back of his jacket. So see right here where the glue caught my finger? And you can just see a little touch of glue coming out of that black piece right there. Take a black marker and it's gone. You don't want to leave little pieces like that because it really takes away from how neat it looks. So we've got the 2 stripes around his body. We've got the stripes around here. This part's going to be covered up with his beard. And we want to put a couple stripes on his boots, which looks like I have maybe just enough left to do. If I do this right in half, boy, you'd have thought I measured that. We'll put a couple stripes right across his boots like that. Get that on like that, and then the other one, hopefully we'll get the same. Now I think the next thing we'll do is we'll put his beard on. It's a 4x5 beard. You just want to take your 4x5 piece and get it ready to put on him. Take the back, turn it over, and take the back corners and glue those in to round out the beard a little bit. Need a little more glue right here on this stripe. So you got those glued in there on the beard, and then you want to take and fold it right in half and put a slit in the top about 1 inch. And you want to bring it right around on the nose, like that. Now the hat's going to cover up the top of the arms and the top of the beard on this one. So we want everything to be kind of mushed together a little bit here around the stub, because the hat's going to cover that all up. So take and glue your beard right in there on the top of the arms. Got that right in there. I'll hold that while it sets up, and then I'll do the other hand. I'll be doing the mustache. You want to make sure you use your heavy-duty hairspray on the face hair. Which I'll get out in a minute. This is just a heavy hold hairspray. Now the next thing we're going to do is put on the hat that we spent so much time on earlier. It's going to fit just like that. We're going to glue it right to the top of his nose and both the top of the arms. So we'll do that right now. You see where I'm gluing it at the top of the nose? Put it a little bit farther back rather than farther front. You can always move it up a little bit. That looks like it's going to be about right. And you got to let that set up really well. And then we'll put a drop of glue here. Drop of glue will go under here. And on the other side. And I'm going to let that set up and I'll be right back with you. So we got the head all glued on. The next thing we want to do is to make the hose, which we're making out of the hair rollers from the Dollar Tree. It comes 6 in a package. We're only going to use 2 packages, or 2 rollers. I've got them taped together. And then I'm going to use a 3-inch by 14-inch piece of yellow felt. And you just want to glue the felt onto the foam rollers. I start by just putting some glue at the first side. And letting that set up for a minute. This set up on here, just, you know, go do something while that sets up and it'll be a lot easier for you to put this together. And we're gonna put some more glue on here. And start rolling. At this point, you can just kind of, you don't have to do it straight down. And then at the end, just go ahead and go all the way down with it about 1/4 of an inch in, so it doesn't ooze out everywhere. I'm going to touch up a couple spots. I don't want it to be sticking out too much. I'm just barely touching that glue gun. I don't want very much glue on here at all. Just enough to bring it down to make it smooth. Okay. Now, one of the things I didn't mention in the supplies list was that we needed a little bell for the end of the hose to make. I'll trim this one a little bit to put the to make the end of the hose with the bell. And I just glue that on there. and let that set up. You kind of apply a little bit of pressure there and make sure you have a little bit, and you know, not too slight amount of glue on there. And apply a little bit of pressure for a few minutes and let that bell set up on there so it'll hold. So give me a couple minutes, I'll be right back with you. So I've got the hose ready to go. I'm going to let it keep drying. And we're going to make the tank. I put on here like a portable little water tank that the gnome from gnomesVille came, the little fireman came with his own little portable water tank, so he's ready to go. And so we're going to make this little tank right now. And it's how I did it was I took some mold ribbon that, seriously, I don't know how long I've had these ribbons from the helium tank boxes because I use colored ribbons. And so I'm going to use up these ribbons making these fireman tanks. So if you have something like this or can come up with another idea of how to make your tank, I'm going to use a 5x7 piece of red felt and just wrap it around this ribbon. Put a little bit of glue on there. Let that set up for a minute. And then what you want to do is just tuck it in on the ends. It's really easy. Now one end will have the hose coming out of it, and the other end will be the bottom. And I'm going to put a little circle glued on the bottom. So I got a little 2.5 by 2.5 piece of red felt that I'm going to cut the corners off to make a circle. And we're going to glue that right on there to be the bottom. That'll be the bottom of the tank. And this top part, we're going to glue the hose in there. The hose will go right into there. So I'm going to put a little glue in there. Down as far as you can. Not too close to the top because we don't want to make a mess. And let that set up for a minute. And I'll be right back with you. Got the hose attached to the little portable water tank. And it's all ready to go. Except for I want to glue down this arm a little bit. Just take and put a little glue up just above that stripe. And hold that arm down a little bit. And after that sets up, We're going to put the hose on, and then we're going to put the water feature on, and we'll be done. So I'll be right back with you. So what we want to do is glue on the hose and the portable water tank. And each one of these that I've already done, I put the hose on a different way. This one you can see it's on the side, bent on the back, goes on. So I'm going to do this one in a different way as well. And so I was thinking about putting the hose. I'm trying to get it to where you can read the H2O in the front. And then gluing it to this arm and then bringing it over to this arm. Remembering that we're going to have that water feature coming out of it. So I think about like that, we'll glue it. So we'll start right here. Definitely going to need some glue for this one. We'll start right here and glue it onto his arm. And we're going to bring it over like that. Then I'm going to bring it over and I'm going to glue it on this arm here. Right here. Now, everybody will have a different idea how they want to put their hose on. And it just depends on how you want to do it. So that's how we're going to do it on this one. So in a minute, I'm going to glue it onto here. And then when I come back, we're going to do the water feature. And then we'll be done. Okay? See you in a minute. One of these balloon weights from the Dollar Tree. You get it in all silver. And you want to take the straight pieces out of it with your scissors. And I'm saving my weight. I'm sure I'll find a lot of things, if not even to weigh down one of the gnomes maybe rather than marbles. But there's a lot of things that we'll be able to use those cement weights for. So you take this, what you just cut off of there, and you wrap it right at the very bottom with a rubber band. Like that. You want it to be as far down on it as you can. You're going to put it right inside this little bell. I broke my rubber band trying to get it down too far. I think it's gonna work still. You know, hold that in there and let it set up for a couple minutes. That'll dry pretty quick. So his water's shooting straight up in the air. Little piece of rubber band I see there that broke. So his water's shooting straight up in the air. Everybody's got their water going in a different direction. You can see all three of the firemen. They turned out really cute. And they're done. That's a done project. I thank you for coming and sharing all this time with us. And if you like the video, please like it. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe.